How's it going, guys? I wanted to make a video about the difference between the geared and the gearless, the internals pretty much. I made a previous video on this one, the gearless. Go ahead and check it out. I'll leave a link in the description showing the insides of this one, and how it works, but I haven't made one on this one. I'll go ahead and take them both apart and show you the internals and what the difference is. And if y'all are curious, these are a little bit bigger. The gearless one is a little bit longer and the head's a little bit wider. Thickness though, it seems they're about the same. Let's see. And if a lot of y'all are wondering, I know the name says J&B Woodworking, and I haven't put up any woodworking videos. So I'm between shops right now, so I'm doing the videos that I can until I get my new shop set up. Then I'll upload some of those. If you can see right there, that seems to be, on the camera it shows, I don't know if you can see it, on the camera it shows 9/16, but me looking at it at 7 5/8 in length. The head across is about 1.5 inches, and the thickness about 11/16. This one, same, 11/16. The length on this one though is 6 15/16. A hair over, maybe 32nd over. The width of this one is 1 3/8. I know it looks different on the camera, but trust me, guys. 1 3/8. I'm sorry, 1 3/16. Way off. 1 3/16. So a little bit bigger. The gearless is just a hair bigger. Now let's take them apart and see what it's like. Alright, for this one, to take this one apart, just take the little snap ring out. I don't know if you can see it. It's got a little ridge on there you can dig into. Let's see. Let's pry that up, and it comes out fairly easy. There you go. And now I'm gonna have to take this side out too, just so you can get a better look at it. Same thing with that one, just got the little snap ring. And there you go. You got this part, your bearing housing, and your casing. Now for this one, it's a little bit different. It's got 3 screws actually. 2 that hold this and along with this one. That one holds the little lever in. They're all, on this one, the 3/8, they are all T9 Torx. Put that one out. Make sure to hold this while you're trying to unscrew this one. Makes it easier. That one is a little smaller. Alright, now that all just comes out. There's your gear. Don't lose this little washer. This little washer goes on top of the release button, right around it on the top side and the cover. And then for this, I wanted to mention something about this. There's 2 springs. I don't know if you can see them right there be careful with those. They will shoot out. I've had them come apart and I looked for it for a couple hours before I could find it. I'd actually gave up looking for it and found it by accident. I find it easier to take the springs out before you take the little arms out. You can take this out, the lever, separate these parts. They're a little bit mixed up. And then your arms actually have just a nice little detail. You can see that left and an R for right. That way you don't get them confused, and that's pretty much it for this. Okay, first let's grab these two. This doesn't come off. At least I don't think it does. So they're pretty similar in size. But this one, of course, has got the hex, which these bind up on. Like I said, there's going to be a video in the description, a link in the description to the video on how this one works. This one I'm going to explain how this one works, because I don't have a video on that yet, but I just want to show you guys the internals. Pretty similar to an extent, but the way this works binds up on this, on the bearings and on the housing. The way this works is these little arms will be positioned like this, and when it turns, it'll push on the spring, and then when you go to turn it the other way to tighten, it'll bite. And I'll show it on the internals. Actually put in there, I'll show you kind of how it works. It's fairly simple. I mean, this is, I believe, is a 72 tooth. I've had no problems with it. I got the 1/2 inch and the 1/4 inch as well, and I love it. But the difference between this one and this one, the gearless and geared, is astonishing. This one you have to turn it till it clicks at least one tooth before you can turn it again, which I mean, it's fairly small degree. But this one, I mean, you barely turn it at all and it catches. It's freaking amazing. I couldn't believe it first time I used it. Pretty straightforward video, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one back in and show you kind of how it works. That way you can see it in action internally and get a better idea of what I was talking about. I know a lot of you guys are probably saying this is common sense, you know, we all know how to do this, so on and so forth. This is for the guys that don't know, or the guys that have never taken apart a ratchet and want to see the internals and want to see how the mechanism works. For the guys that have seen it or done it themselves, you know, I'm just trying to show these other guys. If y'all have any suggestions or comments or input, please leave it. If there's something I missed or something I'd like to see, leave it in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get that uploaded to you guys and show you guys how that works, or take it apart for you, what have you. Okay, gotta hold these in kind of. I'm gonna switch. I don't know if you can see that, the way that's working there. Let me turn the light on. I don't know if you can see how that's working right there. so that you turn it from left to right, it pushes on the arms, and see what I can do. I don't want the springs to pop out. Okay, anyways, alright. I'm gonna hold this down, and I'm gonna put it, right now it's on this setting, so you can see that. Just kind of bring a pain to turn without the lid on it, the cover on it. But you see how that works right there, right? You go ahead and turn it, so now it can go the opposite way. Pretty self-explanatory. And everything in here is metal. I've seen questions before, is there any plastic parts? Does anything look flimsy? No. Nothing looks flimsy in there. It looks pretty good, strong. Like I said, I've bared down on these with cheater bars, and nothing has happened. So, let me turn this light off. Nothing has happened. Nothing as far as breaking or slipping or anything. Well, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and put these back apart. And if y'all are curious to see, I'm going to go ahead and grease this one up, close it up, grease it up, and then get started on the other one. Give you a quick review on that one. Alright guys, I got this one put back together. Just the 3 screws. Now if y'all are wondering what kind of grease or oil I put in here, I use this stuff. It works great. It's easy to clean up when you want to change it out. Picked it up at Lowe's. I don't know, it was like $5, $4, something like that. I used to use white lithium grease, which works great, but it's a pain in the ass to clean up. And you want to, just clean up your wrenches, the gears, or whatever. It's just easier, a lot easier to clean up. This stuff works great. I haven't, it's not like it's going to be under high speed or anything, so it doesn't need ass tons of lubrication. Okay, now to this one. These bearings, this bearing housing kind of works like the arms do. It grips on to this hex. Turn the light on for you guys. Works like the hex does in a sense, and it grips on. Now you can see the bearings locking up. Right now, in this position, the bearings are somewhat in, but the more you turn it, you see how they push out. Well, that binds up. These bearings bind up against the housing. See if I can show you. See if you can see that. Oh god, this glare is killing me. Make sure when you put these back in, see how it divots down a little bit. That's where these little notches go. It's not bi-directional. You just got to put it a certain way. If not, it won't work right. Just got to mess with it until you figure it out. Yeah, and I put it in wrong the first time. See that A right there? I don't see an A on here anywhere, but it's got to be on there for a reason. If y'all know, please leave it in the comments below, because I have no idea. Alright, now let's see if I put it in. Okay, so now it's turning freely. Now when I go to turn it this way, I don't know if you can see the gears, or the bearings, I'm sorry. binding up against the corners of the hex. It bites. Like I said, I got a more detailed video. I'm going to leave the link in the description, but that's just the inside look for you guys that are curious on the difference, what a geared wrench looks like compared to a gearless. I'll be uploading more videos here soon. Just been real busy lately with, you know, the shop move and all that. So again, these snap in just as easy as they come out. Nothing to it. Again, guys, like I said, if you have any questions or y'all want to see anything different taken apart or whatnot, leave it in the comments, and I'll do my best to get that uploaded for you guys. Thanks for watching.